Governor Beshear vetoed a bill that would put Lexington at odds with state law.
This morning while in Louisville, the governor called House Bill 18 mean and wrong. Destiny Quinn has details from the Alert Center.
Victor and Kristen, House Bill 18 would stop local governments from enforcing source of income discrimination bans. Lexington passed one just 2 weeks ago. It stops landlords from rejecting people based on how they pay rent. Governor Beshear says this includes assistance known as Section 8 vouchers and vouchers for the most vulnerable. He says the people that would be harmed by this bill are those with disabilities, senior citizens, low-income families, and homeless veterans.
They worry about affordable housing. We should never make it harder for someone to obtain a roof over their head, a safe place to call home, and that's exactly what this bill tries to do. We should be working to help people and never to harm them.
On the anniversary of the March on Frankfurt, the governor said the move to veto the bill honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s fight for civic and economic rights against discrimination. Now, that veto is now in the hands of the General Assembly, where Republican lawmakers do have enough of a majority to potentially override it.